Hello and welcome to the full-time report, Arsenal versus Dinamo Zagreb, and another disappointing Champions League performance by Arsenal. Moran, what went wrong?
Well, I think it's just the same old story with Arsenal, to be honest. A sense of not turning up for a match, and we have the talent. Even though we had numerous players like Ramsey, Coquelin, Walcott sitting off the bench, Bellerin sitting on the bench to begin the match. You'd think the talent that was remaining would easily pick apart the Zagreb team, and it just by the result in the end, that wasn't the case.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely disgraceful that we don't take a Champions League match not seriously enough. It's not like Dinamo Zagreb are a joke of a team. They went undefeated last year in the Croatian league, and they're not some second, third division English side that we're playing in the third round of the League Cup. This is the Champions League, and we have to take this seriously. The fact that we're not putting out a full strength squad, or not even close to a full strength squad, is beyond me. The fact that we're not starting Hector Bellerin, we're not starting Nacho Monreal. I think the play of our wing backs and our wingers today just epitomized what went wrong with us. Gibbs and Debuchy didn't look sharp. Our wingers as well. Sanchez was off his game, and another performance by Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, which brings up question marks for him. He has the talent to be a world-class player, but the inconsistencies that we're seeing from him, the lapses in concentration are costing us points and costing us results.
Yeah, and I feel for Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain because he had such a great preseason. He scored the winner against Chelsea in the Community Shield. He sort of had that. He started to creep up that that breakthrough, that world class label that we know he has the potential to grasp. And usually it's not his attacking flair that's really is the question. It's his defensive commitment. Being willing to be aware of who he's marking in our defending half or in our defending third. You can tell by the first goal that was conceded. There was sort of a miscommunication between him and Debuchy as to whether who should be marking that player, that wide player. And yeah, you mentioned it. Bellerin didn't play, Monreal didn't play. But credit to a guy like Ospina, he had a great game. Apart from the goals that were conceded, he made big saves to keep it within margins. And I'm gonna mention him because he had a really in and out sort of performance, literally. Olivier Giroud, I can't even criticize his performance because he couldn't stay on the field long enough. But I don't want to say stupidity, but lapse in concentration, really being aware of your situation on the field, having a yellow card, letting loose of your leg, and getting.
I'm sorry, but that is a ridiculous call by the referee. Absolutely ridiculous call. No way is that a second yellow. No way is that even a first yellow, in my opinion. Especially in a Champions League game where usually referees give a little more leeway for that second yellow card as a foul. That was so soft, Moran. That was so soft. No way is that a second yellow card.
Well, the thing is, Giroud had it coming. Prior to that foul and following the yellow card, he got one or two warnings, not warnings, but he got foul. He committed a couple of fouls in the lead up to the second yellow, which should have sent warning signals to him. And the fact that he let such a nonchalant, leaving his leg out there, just obviously some refs would maybe let it go, but when I saw his leg up in the air, mid-range high, I just expected the yellow card to come out. And Giroud having such an underwhelming, commence to the season with all the rumors of a new striker coming in, it's really, in prior seasons it didn't really affect him very much, but you can tell at the start of this season the chances he's missed not only domestically but internationally for France, and then it's just continuing right now.
He's definitely had a rough couple of weeks, especially getting booed off by the French fans. But on the flip side, the striker that came in later in the match, Theo Walcott, another pretty solid performance from him, a very Henry-esque finish to make it 2-1. But it's the same storyline for an Arsenal Champions League match. We go down, we dig ourselves in a hole, we give ourselves hope by getting one back, and then we never quite get the result that we need. AC Milan, we go down 4-0, we come back 3-0. Bayern Munich, we dig ourselves a hole, we climb back up, but we can't quite make it. There's been so many times in the Champions League where we dig ourselves into a hole and can't quite get ourselves out of it, and it's just frustrating. And the Champions League's the best of the best, and right now, today we just didn't seem prepared enough, and that's, as a fan, I think that's unacceptable to watch. The fact that we know we had the Wednesday game, we didn't even play on the Tuesday, we had an extra day for the Champions League, and we just didn't look prepared enough, and we thought we just had the 3 points in the bag when we showed up. We got to show some fight, and with all due respect to Mikel Arteta, this is a game where Francis Coquelin has to play Moran. I think he's been one of our best players going forward, and even when he came on, I thought he made a difference, but just overall, a very disappointing day. And when you look on the bench, we did bring on Theo Walcott, which was some good attacking reinforcement, but other than Theo Walcott, do we have many options? Especially with Ramsey not being there, not making the trip down. It's just so many disappointing factors, Moran. Do you see any positives out there?
Do I see it? Well, I think the only positive any fan can really come up with was maybe you can say Koscielny, but I think Gabriel was probably our best player today. I think he didn't. I don't recall him making any errors today. I think so far he's cemented his place. I think he should have his place cemented in the starting lineup. I think he's really got that supporting quality for Koscielny. He's reckless, but he's disciplined in a way that he knows when to time those tackles that look wild and look, wow, that is dangerous. I'm not surprised that's a card, but then he gets the ball and he wins the ball fairly cleanly, and he's been stellar. To give, apart from recent displays, give credit to Wenger for making that purchase in January, because that is looking like a very shrewd piece of business.
Yeah. The thing about Gabriel that I always touch on is just he has that crazy look in his eye that you need from a defender. Like from any world-class defender has that crazy look in the eye where you're kind of scared to go up against him because he's just rock solid. And he always had that Koscielny model, whereas I think he had a better base talent to work with. And if Wenger molded Koscielny, I think he can mold Gabriel the same way, and they can complement each other very well. But going forward, Moran, we have a tough group. We have Bayern Munich in our group. We can't afford any more slip-ups after this. They dismantled Olympiacos 3-0 today. I believe our next Champions League match is against Olympiacos at home, and that is a must-win game. If we don't get 3 points from that, we're digging ourselves into an even bigger hole than we have right now. And what needs to change going into that fixture and just restarting our season necessarily, because we've looked pretty good in the league so far. We bounced back from that poor start, but what needs to change for success in the Champions League?
Our recent struggles with Bayern Munich in recent Champions League years is quite the opposite with Olympiacos, a team we've seen, quite frequently in the Champions League, but a team we've had very great success against. Apart from one defeat where in the Champions League match where we rested most of our players, we've had great performances against an Olympiacos team that we're very comfortable with. But at this point, obviously, past fixtures don't count right now. This is a completely different team on both sides for Olympiacos and for Arsenal. And just knowing Olympiacos need a win as well to keep their Champions League hopes alive. They already lost their first match. And, both it's going to be a nitty-gritty. It's going to be the same sort of match today. Olympiacos is going to be, ruthless. They're going to be aggressive in defense. And Arsenal need to be on their A game, especially at home. They do not want to get anything less than a win because that would be disastrous at this point in the Champions League. Honestly, with Bayern Munich looming after it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that touches on to we need more production from our star players. Mesut Ozil, Alexis Sanchez, they weren't terrible today, but they weren't the world-class players that you want to see in a Champions League match. You want your best players to show up with the bright lights, and they didn't show up today to their full potential, and that's something that needs to change, especially against Bayern Munich. And we know last season Ozil didn't have the greatest of displays against Bayern Munich, so he should be hungry for – or 2 years ago he didn't have the greatest displays against Bayern Munich, so he should be hungry to kind of regain himself from those performances. But just overall, another disappointing day. Another disappointing day as an Arsenal fan, and unfortunately there's been too many of those at the start of the season. And Do you have any last words for today, Marian?
Yeah, with the start of the Premier League, the way it's been, Arsenal on such a high, Chelsea on such a low. With today's results, Chelsea with a pretty emphatic win against, I don't even recall. I think it was, I can't recall who they played. I think it was Malmo or I can't recall. But they, pretty emphatic. I think it was 4-0. Arsenal was such a disappointing out of the blue loss against the Zagreb team. Heading into Saturday's morning fixture or early kickoff fixture against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, it's starting to feel like the narrative's already written for Chelsea to really kickstart their season again against Arsenal, a team Mourinho's had so much success against, a team Wenger's had so much struggles against in the years past. So if you told me before today's matches that, what were our odds winning at Stamford Bridge, I would have been fairly confident. But now, after these results, the tide's turning a little bit. I'm kind of worried.
You never know. It could just be a wake up call going to that Chelsea match. Sometimes Arsenal always usually respond well to midweek to disappointing results. We usually come back and follow it up with a good one. And as you said, yeah, Chelsea they look good today, but they haven't looked that great in the Premier League. Maybe it could just be a one-off match. But as you said, who knows? The thing that bugs me is we've been talking big picture. We've been talking about the league title. How I think we do have a strong enough team to challenge for it, but we're not taking things game by game. Maybe we're thinking too much of the big picture, that we're not taking each game seriously, and that's something that needs to change. And the league's a sprint, a marathon. Champions League's a marathon, and you got to take it day by day, game by game. And that's something that we just need to improve on. Because to summarize today, we just didn't take we didn't take a good side seriously today. We didn't show Zagreb the respect they deserved, and they punished us for it. But thank you for joining our full-time report. We'll be back on the weekend, as Moran said, against a big match against Chelsea, something that can change our title aspirations for sure. And I think that's one of those games that can really change the course of our season. It can take a turn for the best, or it can take a turn for the worst. So join us next week for a full-time report against Chelsea, and thanks for joining us today. Up the Arsenal.